Okay, and we are live. Thank you
Hi.
for joining us, everyone. Looking forward to going over these fun dinosaur facts. I was a dinosaur kid, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
Clearly
So,
same.
so let us know where you're joining us from. Post in the comments. Just let us know, hey, where are you guys going to be joining us from? Who is joining you? We love to give you guys shout outs. So if you want to share your kids' names that I can give them a shout out when they get an answer right, I'm happy to do so.
Yes, absolutely. And we are coming live a little bit late because technology was being fun. So sorry about that.
So, what activity are they going to be doing alongside the trivia today?
Yes. So I actually want to address that right away. So if you printed out your build a dinosaur activity, I recommend holding off on starting that until we're a couple questions in. And I will let you know which question that is, and it will make sense at that point. Not to be cryptic, that was a very cryptic answer, but so there's that. And then there's also some note taking pages. If you feel like you would like to write some of this awesomeness down, there's also that.
So, for those of you who don't know, we actually recently launched a Pocket e-zine. You can get it on our website. It's available for free to download or view on our website, and it has a bunch of really awesome resources, including resources that from Heather and a bunch of other popular homeschool creators, as well as articles on tips and tricks on homeschooling on the go. So if you haven't already had a chance to read the e-zine, I highly recommend that you go over there and take a look at all of the really great stuff that we've collected for you.
I read through it and it was amazing. You did a really awesome job. And I love all the little effects on each page. I know that it's like the little things, right? But
Yes,
I thought it was fantastic.
the design and layout was actually done by Janet. She's one of the other
Oh,
admins and my mom, and
shout out.
she did a great job. She had so much
Yeah.
fun putting it all together. She has been in graphic design for I think 20 years, and she's been homeschooling for longer than that. So this was really fun for her to be able to put together, and she really enjoys doing that a lot. It's really, this group has been such a blessing for us because
Mm.
it allows us to put together our two passions, which is connecting people with things that they need in the real world and being able to share with people to make it easier to homeschool.
Totally. And I am so blessed to have been invited into the fold. I love being here, and these classes are such a joy to deliver to everybody. Hello to Kimberly and Emerald in Melbourne. That's awesome. Very cool.
So it sounds like they're joining us from Australia. So, hello guys. Thanks for joining us. I did post a link to the Build a Dinosaur activity as well as the presentation for this week, which we'll be getting to shortly. So if you haven't had a chance to download the worksheet, go ahead and the free resource, go ahead and do that right away because it is only available for, I think, another day. Isn't that right, Heather?
Yes. The free resources is available for another day, and the presentation will be available for about a week for the people who want to catch this in their own time.
Okay, and finally, we have a lot of really exciting stuff going on, and so I just wanted to give you guys an update. We are actually hosting a giveaway right now to celebrate the launch of the Easy. You can win a laminator and a bunch of other prizes. It is available for the United States and international, so we actually have prize packages. So if you're from Australia, you can still join in on those prizes. We wanted to make sure that there was something for everyone. Heather is also giving away a resource in that giveaway. So she is sharing so much, and I so appreciate being a part of our team.
Yes, so exciting. I actually made a series of board games, digital board games that go over different types of writing styles. So that is the bundle that is my giveaway.
Super awesome. So if you guys have uh, just a little bit more time, be sure if you haven't already, go ahead and comment. Tell us where you're joining us from so that we can give you a little shout out. We love seeing all the people that are joining us. It looks like we have, let's see here, we've got 9 people with us live right now, and Kimberly is the first one who commented. So love to see you guys. Hello. We got someone else here.
Where are you from? How old are you? Australia, but
Hi,
traveling.
hi, Amy and Shannon. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And we've got Valerie from Puyallup. I think I said that correctly.
I'm terrible with names, so 14 and 9. Okay. Yeah, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun, I promise. Um, James is 6.5. Welcome, young viewers. Um, are you ready to get started and learn about dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures? I expanded beyond dinosaurs. I hope that's okay. All right, well, let's do this. So, unlike my last couple of trivia classes, this is not for points. So, if you would like to keep some sort of point system, by all means, you can do that. If you're like, feel like battling
Competitive.
against a sibling. Yeah, exactly. Feel free to keep your own point system. I will not stop you. But in general, there aren't any points this time. So sorry about that. I wanted to be a little bit more general and all of that. So one thing that I would like to tell people is that this is not a quiz. That, you're not being tested. You are learning through question and answer, which frankly is one of my favorite ways to learn. This is more of a discussion, even though there are questions and answers, if that makes sense. So you are not being punished in any way, shape, or form for getting answers wrong. I tell you what, I have been teaching about dinosaurs for a year now, and I would have gotten 100% of these wrong if I hadn't been teaching about dinosaurs for a year now. So I hope you learned something today and have fun doing it. That is really the important part, having fun. All right, so I will start with the first question. And all of these are true or false, by the way. So it's going to be a statement. Tell me true or false. And I would request that if you say false, I'd like to hear why you think it's false, because that's always interesting to me. So,
Okay.
first one, true or false? Oh, yes.
Can you go ahead and share the slides as well so we can see them
Oh,
at the same time?
shoot. I thought I was because we did this a couple of times. My apologies. I'm so sorry. Okay. There we go. Oh, apologies.
Okay, there we
Hopefully
go.
that's better. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. All right. Second time through, I didn't share my slides. All right. So, first one, true or false? The term dinosaur is less than 200 years old. How old do we think the term dinosaur is? Okay, false.
I think that this is true.
Okay. We've got one false, one true. False. Couple of falses, another false.
So we got
You are
Elizabeth and
being you
Terry.
are being outvoted at the
I
moment.
am being outvoted. Like, now I'm thinking, like, wait.
Okay. All right. Like all of my trivia games, please feel free to hit pause if you're still thinking about something. That way I don't ruin it for you. Because I certainly wouldn't want that to be the case. All right, we got one true. Someone agrees with
Liv,
you.
Liv agrees with me, so we'll have to see.
Oh, it's a
Kimberly
battle
does too.
now.
I think it's even. We have
All right, here
Valerie.
we go. The answer is true. So this actually blew my mind. We have been calling things dinosaurs for what feels like forever. But if you actually go back and look at the history of fossils and when they were discovered and when the term dinosaur actually started being used, believe it or not, it was actually after the first dinosaur was named. So we've been discovering dinosaur and other prehistoric creatures, fossils for a very, very, very long time. But the word dinosaur was not used until, like I said, after some of the dinosaurs we're going to talk about today received names. So I find that to be super interesting. So, yeah, so that one is false. Okay, question number 2. The Tyrannosaurus Rex had scaly reptilian skin. What do we think?
I think that this one's true. That's how I've always seen them.
Scaly reptilian skin. What do we think? Everyone's thinking about this one, thinking hard. False. All right. I'm curious why. I'm curious why you think it's false. Mostly going true for this one.
Yeah.
Another couple of falses. I'm curious what they think
So
it has.
Dana and Carrie C are the ones that are saying they think that this one's false.
The only thing I see is Facebook user. So I
Hmm.
apologize for not knowing who anybody is. And it
So
pops up like at a delay as well. So
if you guys do want your names to show up for us to be able to see, all you have to do is agree to let StreamYard, which is the program that we use, be able to access your name, and then that'll show up for us, and then we can give you a little
oh,
shout out. So
there's the answer. Okay. I'm like 5, lives into this and I'm finally I'm finally asking about that. All right, here we go. All right. Hold on to your seats as they say. This is what the Tyrannosaurus Rex looked like. It had feathers, y'all. They were
what?
born 100% covered in feathers and eventually they as they grow up into adults, this is an adult, they had a mullet, a pretty extensive one that went halfway down the back, and feathers on the tail. So this is what an actual Tyrannosaurus Rex would have looked like. All right.
Yeah, we've got some good. We've got some good comments.
I know the comments are great. Oh my gosh. Sometimes true. That's my favorite answer. Sometimes true. So yeah, 100% covered in feathers at birth. That was to help them both camouflage and stay warm. I don't know if you know that about birds, but feathers help regulate temperature. And yeah, they
Yeah,
lost some of the feathers. But yeah,
prehistoric
Jurassic
chicken.
Park
Someone
lied
said.
to us. Exactly. A prehistoric chicken. All right, next question. Pterodactyls never existed. What do we think?
Oh, I would be so upset. They're my
Pterodactyls
favorite.
never existed.
I
True
think that's
or
false.
false?
I'm just believing that it is false.
Very emphatic falses are coming through right now.
I think people agree with me. It's like they're the best.
Yeah. I love the flying ones. Amazing. Going true. Someone's being bold and saying true. All right. Oh, there's 2 people. Oh no. Another one just came in. It's the same one. All right. So false. Very emphatic falses. I am curious why a few people think it's true. But
We've
here we
got
go.
yeah.
Pterodactyls never existed. That has
No.
never been a thing. So, actually, nobody knows exactly when the term pterodactyls. No, they didn't. So the term pterodactyl it's not a thing. At some point we started using it in pop culture. But scientists have never once used the term pterodactyl. They are actually pterodons. That is what people
Mm,
typically refer to as a pterodactyl. And there's a whole group of flying reptiles, dinosaurs that were known as pterosaurs. So there are lots and lots and lots of them, just like a lot of these groups. But yeah, no pterodactyl friends, just pterodon. Well, not just pterodon is typically the one that gets confused with the word pterodactyl. So if you ever see the word pterodactyl, it is not a pterodactyl. So yeah.
interesting. So it's like it was somebody called it that, like maybe in like when they were first like finding the dinosaurs, but that wasn't actually a term for dinosaurs. That type of
Yeah,
dinosaur.
well, not even that, it was more recent than that.
Really
Yeah, from what I read and from what I understand is A, scientists have never used it,
hmm,
and B, it was more of a pop culture thing. So someone decided
interesting.
to use that term and it kind of just stuck. Um, yeah, I definitely never knew this before that. I know. Well, they can still be your favorite. They're just pterodons. They're not pterodactyls.
I feel better that I know that they like the
The
dinosaur
creature
existed. A
existed.
creature existed.
Yes, they're just not pterodactyls. So, all right, velociraptors were around 6 feet tall. People are still
People are just
freaking out
so
over the
confused.
last one. I know.
Yeah, they are.
Velociraptors were around 6 feet tall. So, like, I don't know, the size of my husband, essentially.
A grown man.
A grown man. Yes.
Okay, I think this one is false. I'm gonna say actually, because I think that they were like I feel like they would have been smaller.
Okay. All right. So we have a couple of falses. A true, another true. So it's like about even right now.
So I forgot the. Yeah, we got to show what they look like. I think it's
True.
like the little red one.
I'm going to show them. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. People will remember which one we're talking about.
Well, there's a reason I don't want to pre-show it. I'm just going to say
Oh.
that. This is, by the way, this is like a cartoon of
Hmm.
a velociraptor. Very much a cartoon. I mean, you can see like these are not to scale.
They're fun though.
They are fun. I like that they move and all of that. That's fun. All right. Prepare yourselves. This is another crazy one. So, I don't know how many people have seen Jurassic Park. Some of you are too
Mhm.
young. My parents, I don't know, made me or there's some sort of way that I watched it way too young. Like very young, single digits. Should not have been watching it, and it still haunts me. Velociraptors in the whole Jurassic, what do they call it, like Jurassic Universe or something now, because there are so
Mhm.
many of them. But they're a main character in Jurassic Universe. And they are depicted as about 6 feet tall, 6, 7, around there. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, not so much. So this is what they looked like. And they were the size of turkeys. Yes, size of turkeys. So they were completely feathered, unlike the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which only had, feathers and some places depending on where it was at in life. But a velociraptor was 100% feathers. And the Jurassic Park movies were based on another dinosaur, actually. I'm going to butcher the name, but it's this one down here. Deinonychus. That's horrible. I told you I'm no good with names. But this one, and remember that because it is going to come up later. But that is what the movies were based on.
Yeah, I don't think
Some
they're any less
reason
scary.
well, yeah, but for some reason that Deinonychus question mark didn't roll off the tongue, so they used Velociraptor. That's the name.
Right. Yeah.
And
That makes sense.
and an angry turkey, I don't know. wouldn't have done the
No,
same thing.
yeah, well, we actually have flocks of wild turkeys. That'll usually they're like
Yeah, we
20
do too.
turkeys at a time. And if you ever see two turkeys fight, I'm like, oh, okay, I think a velociraptor could be scary as a turkey size. 20 of them, that kind of attitude. I could see that.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, people are saying it's like a bird. Birds are not descended from the things that you would think they would be. Certainly not from pterosaurs. So, yeah, I know. It's totally wild. All right. So, this one, I'm going to show you a picture in advance because I don't know if you've heard of an Argentinosaurus. Great. If not, I'm going to show it to you. So this is what it looked like. Obviously, approximately what it looked like.
Hmm.
And hold on, let me go back to my question. Oh, they had hollow bones like birds. Do we think that they had hollow bones like a bird? Because birds
I'm
have
gonna
hollow bones, just so you know.
right. So I'm gonna say I think that this one is false. What do you guys think?
Good. We got a
Looks like we got Liv.
true.
Dana thinks it's true as well. I'm being outvoted, so
You are being outvoted, very much so.
Carrie
That is
C.
a long neck. I know, right?
Kimberly believes that it's true.
You
Siobhan, she says that it's false. Uh, Amy says that Sky and Paige think that it's true.
Oh, man.
And
Yeah,
Shannon.
totally
So we're
outvoted on
like,
this
I'm
one.
completely outvoted on this one.
All right. So this one is true. So
Really?
the reason for this is because it weighed so much. So if they didn't have hollow bones, they would have weighed even more. And from what I
That's
understand is they
crazy.
wouldn't have been able to move and might have even crushed themselves. So obviously that result not good. Um, they are actually one of the largest dinosaurs ever to be discovered. There are a
Wow.
couple that are like vying for that title, but they're in
Hmm.
the top like two or three. So
I've
yeah,
never even heard of them before. That's
I
cool.
know, right? So it was discovered actually by a farmer in in South America because they came up with this great, super awesome original name of the Argentinosaurus. So you can kind of guess where in South America it was originally found, but it was found by a farmer who was like, this is weird in my field, and contacted some local scientists. And, the rest is history, as they say. Oh, you learned that already. Okay, very cool. Then your museum is all up to date. I like it. All right. So this is another one where I'm not going to show you a picture in advance. But the Microraptor, so not the Velociraptor, but the Microraptor was capable of gliding. And I will tell you that the Velociraptor was not capable of gliding. It had like I don't know if you remember the picture, but it had like little stubby arms, kind of like a T-Rex. So it was not capable of gliding. Yes, you were right. Awesome. All right, so false. What are you saying on this one, Amelia?
I think that this one's gonna be true. I feel like
Okay.
a smaller version of a raptor would
Mm,
like it might like I could see that working.
okay. Maybe false. I'm not
Hedging the bets
sure
now.
if that counts like an answer. I've told this in another class before, but when I do this with my online students, they will go, false, true, maybe something is the answer. So this is what you're saying approximately. Go in a couple trues. Okay. We've got kind of even here. Um,
Mhm.
all right. So, are you ready for a picture of it?
Okay,
This
let's see.
was a Microraptor. So, it had actually four wings, feathers on both arms. You can see even its legs like had
Mhm.
feathers, which actually served as wings as well. So this one was capable of gliding, still not capable of flight, but they could glide around, which was obviously an improvement over the Velociraptor, which definitely could not do that. So yeah,
In this picture, it looks kind of like a raven.
it does. Yes, and I don't know exactly how large that lizard is, given
Hmm.
what lived back then. It could be anywhere from microscopic to it could eat you. Like, but
That's true.
Microraptor, and I apologize, I did not look this up, so I do not know the exact size of a Microraptor. I was happy to have found a picture. Oh, I know, and now people are asking, like, how much it weighed. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay,
But it
let's
was
see if I can.
smaller than a Velociraptor, which was like a turkey, so, you know, not
Let's,
much is
let's
my
see if
guess.
there's
Not much.
so coloration.
All right, the next one. The Tyrannosaurus Rex could lift more than 400 pounds with its tiny arms.
I just feel like this one's false. I just feel like it is.
Uh,
I mean, they're large, but I don't know. They're such tiny little arms.
I know. Look at this guy over here, right? Let's see. All right, we've got one true so far. False. False. Oh, wait. No, they're changing. Going false. Definitely not true. Up. Someone being bold and saying true. Okay. What? Oh, yeah. You already said this one. Microraptors, 2 pounds and 1 foot long. There you go.
Thank you.
So
That was
smaller than the turkey.
that
Very
was
cool.
Carrie C. Thank you for providing the information.
Yes, thank you for that. I'm so sorry I didn't look that up in advance. As soon as it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was a hole in all of this." All right, so false, true, true. All right, so we're getting about even on this one. Okay, so yes, it could. So the most useless in terms of its arms is this guy. Um, this is a Carnotaurus. Again, apologies if that is the completely wrong way. But you can see how much more useless
Little
I,
stubby.
they're just nubs, really. So yeah, but believe it or not, the T-Rex could lift 400 pounds
That's
with those
crazy.
tiny little arms. I was super surprised by that. I
See,
mean,
here we come in. We're coming in with the shocking facts you did not know.
I aim to please and deliver on my promises. 400 pounds. That just feels like so much. And, the T Rex wasn't as big as you think it was.
Really?
Um, no, I mean, it wasn't a turkey. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's not a turkey, but being able to lift 400 pounds is pretty impressive given what it had.
Yeah, with the little small arms.
I love this. Okay. So the Triceratops, which means three-horned face, didn't have three horns. Now, I I thought that the Triceratops was kind of universal in terms of people knowing it, but my daughter says otherwise. This is a Triceratops, but just in case you needed a different picture, um, this is a Triceratops.
Well, I feel like it's true, but now I'm wondering, like, is one of them not considered a horn? Like, I don't know, Pluto's not considered a planet?
I
I'm like doubting everything,
refuse.
right?
I refuse to say Pluto is not a planet. I'm sorry. I cannot learn a new acronym. It's just not happening. And the one for today without Pluto, it does not work for me. My brain will not go there. Absolutely not go there. All right, so we've got a couple of trues, couple of falses. I am quite positive it has three horns. All right, so there are a couple trues. All right, so why, if you wrote true, why do you think it's true? I'm curious. If anyone who wrote true would love to expand upon that, because there are lots of trues here. All right. Well, if you get a moment to expand on why you thought it was true, I would love to hear it. But this is true. So the two
Really?
on the top are horns, like legit horns. But the one here on like the end of its nose was made from the same thing as your fingernail. So unless you consider your
Interesting.
fingernail a horn, I personally do not. It would have not. It wouldn't have served the purpose of a horn in a fight. It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have lasted. So, um,
So it was decorative, basically.
it was correct. Exactly. It was decorative. It
Interesting.
was not a horn. Which again, I did not know.
Yeah,
Like I said, I was learning right along with you guys. So
like Liv said, it's like almost like it's a part of its nose
exactly.
rather
Exactly.
than a bone type horn.
I mean, I
Interesting.
can
I just
totally
didn't know
see
that.
why they named it that until they figured out
Right?
later. But at that point, like the name was there and they weren't going to change the name. So, so that ship had sailed. But yeah, the third thing, not a horn. There you go. All right. So the first dinosaur to receive a name was the iguanodon. This is what an iguanodon looks like if you're not familiar. Was this the first dinosaur to receive a name?
Okay, I think this is false just based on what I think is the first dinosaur to have received a name based on what I had learned, but I'm curious to find out if that is true or not. So I think this is false. But now I question everything.
I remember when I presented to my students about the first, I think the first class was the T Rex feathers thing, and then the pterodactyl was the next class. And they're like, everything I know is wrong. I don't believe in anything anymore.
Well, it goes to show you how often stuff changes as people are doing more research and
True.
keeping up to date on things.
Yeah, true. Although I feel like the stuff we watch on TV like doesn't help. Um,
Yeah, well, like where they will do like a documentary or an artistic rendering of something, and I'll be like not knowing that there was a little star or a little one there that was like artistic rendering.
right. All right, 100% of people think this is false. I guess I picked a poor one. You guys are correct. This was not the first dinosaur to receive a name. This was the first one, the Megalosaurus. So, the iguanodon was discovered in 1822 and didn't receive its name until 1825. But the Megalosaurus, which was actually discovered quite a bit before the iguanodon, it's all very you don't get names immediately, let's just put it that way.
Hmm.
And so that was in 1824, so technically a year earlier was the Megalosaurus. Is that the dinosaur you thought it was, just out of curiosity?
No, I thought it was the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I
Nope.
thought that was the one that got the first name.
Oh, so I'd love to hear from other people. Is the Megalosaurus the one you guys thought? And also, just to put it into context too, it's interesting to me that both of these received names before the word dinosaur was used.
Hmm.
Because if we recall back to that very first question, it wasn't until 1842 that the word dinosaur was invented. Oh,
So
invented is
quite a
the
bit
right word.
after.
Yeah, right? Crazy. Crazy. You guys all knew. Yeah. Well, every once in a while I'm not going to stump you. All right. The Anatosaurus had approximately 2,000 teeth. This is an Anatosaurus, in case you were not familiar with the Anatosaurus. I believe there is an animated movie that features an Anatosaurus. I could be wrong about that, but it has definitely been in things.
Okay, so how many teeth were you saying?
2,000. What do we think?
2,000. Depends on how big it is.
That's impossible. False. One brave soul going true. Oh,
I think
another person going out on the ledge.
I personally think that this one is false.
Okay. All right. Got a couple of trues, a couple of falses. We need like some sort of tiebreaker here. Who else wants to guess if the Anatosaurus, what am I on here? The Anatosaurus. I was like still stuck on the iguanodon. They're in the same category of dinosaur. Um,
Oh, gotcha.
all right. So wait, some people are changing their answers. All right. Uh, that's with a small head. That's false. All right. So this actually is somewhat frightening to me. So I don't know if you've ever I don't know if you've had the occasion to look into the like mouth of a shark where they have rows and rows and rows of teeth. Um, that's what these guys had.
No
So
way.
they had a beak. So here, let me pull up the picture again. So they had a beak-ish thing
Hmm.
here. And so there were no teeth as part of the beak. But once you got past the beak, they had rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of teeth in their cheeks, which is crazy. And just like sharks, they would dull and fall out and be replaced. So that is it. So they weren't always chewing with every single tooth at the same time. So not like us, I guess, although I feel like I I favor one side of the mouth or
Yeah, right.
whatever, but they were not using all of their teeth at the same time, and they did continuously replace themselves. But at any given time, they did remain a 2,000 count.
Wow,
I
that's
know.
crazy.
And this is an herbivore. I guess I don't know.
Thank goodness.
To me, right? It's frightening. um, but I think that makes it even more surprising. Um,
Yeah.
for an herbivore to have need for so many teeth. So there you have it. I knew it. All right. So scientists originally believed the Corythosaurus, again, apologies to the people who named it and just put letters together. Um, that's on you, man. They originally thought it was an ostrich. So here's what it looks like. Do you think they originally thought it was an ostrich?
I'm gonna say false on this one. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if I'm outvoted.
False. And Lily Aurora also said false for what that is worth when we were testing to make sure everything worked. False, false, false. So far, everyone is agreeing with you. Anybody else want to take a guess? Sky says false. Okay.
So it looks like it's pretty unanimous.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Oh,
We've got a true. No way,
we've
that's
got
definitely false.
Carrie C saying that she thinks that it's true.
Okay. All right. Oh, and I was wondering if Paige
Oh,
was going to
and
jump in.
Paige. Yep.
The sisters, I assume, are divided on this one. All right.
It sounds like it.
I have no other commentary other than to say that this was true. They stumbled upon this and thought it was an ostrich. I have Aurora's like, why don't you have an explanation for that? I'm like, I don't, because it doesn't look like an ostrich. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, how can you find the pieces of this and think like, yeah, that's
That's an
totally an
ostrich.
ostrich? I mean, obviously they don't find all the pieces like at once and stuff, but I feel like it doesn't have really anything that would match up with an ostrich. So I don't know. Make that what you will, but that is what they originally thought it was. And it was labeled that for a time. All
Kimberly
right.
says that maybe they found only a partial skeleton. That would make more sense.
It would.
But
Except I don't know.
thank you.
I've seen ostriches, and obviously I've seen this one, and I don't know. It would have to have been a very small part. And at that point, you feel comfortable even calling it an ostrich, you know?
Yeah, exactly right.
All right. So this is a question I alluded to quite a long time ago. So this guy, the D1, which I won't butcher again, was the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park, that was around 6 feet tall, and the Corythosaurus, oh my goodness, was this guy from the previous question. So let me just show you that again. This was an herbivore that walked on four legs. And I will show you a picture of the Velociraptor, which still had feathers, but here we are. It is not the size of a turkey, I guess. Do you think that they had the same top speed?
I'm gonna say true on this one, just because the Corinthsaurus, that one I've seen, like, again, artistic renderings. So different documentaries and things like that, and I think that they're pretty fast, but I could be wrong. I could be mixing them up with a different dinosaur.
Yeah.
So don't just take my word for it. I didn't look at these questions beforehand, just so you guys know. So it's not like I got the down low or anything.
The
This is my
only
genuine
person
opinion.
other than me who has seen this is my daughter Aurora. So we aren't sharing secrets here. Go true, true. Oh man, tons of trues. Okay. Super duper duper true. Oh man. Okay.
They're doubling down on that one. What's this? Elizabeth.
Okay. Well, I will not even wait since it's super duper duper true. They did have the same top speed, which I don't know. Like I wouldn't have known that. A four-legged and the front two legs were very small versus a raptor to me seemed like there's no way they could have possibly had the same top speed, but scientists think that both of them could run about 30 miles an hour. So
That's
and that by
crazy.
itself seems fast. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So false because it's bigger. Yeah, sorry. I know, isn't that weird? Oh, dinosaurs are nuts. Okay, next one. I don't again, this is one of those where I think it's universally known, but I'm going to show you a picture. The closest
Okay.
living relative to the woolly mammoth is the African elephant. And here is a woolly mammoth for those. Got bragging rights going on in the comments. This is a woolly mammoth. And the question is true or false? The closest living relative today is the African elephant. All right, we've got a true. What
I
do we
don't know
think?
about this one. I genuinely actually like, my knowledge is mostly on broadly on dinosaurs, but not on prehistoric creatures. So
Yeah, I threw a couple in there.
just mix it up a little.
Yeah, why not? Well, I wanted to grab a couple too that people knew of
Hmm.
more so than some of the other dinosaurs. All right, I'm not sure what D is. I just see a bunch of D's. So, all right.
That looks like, I think Carrie C was maybe the keyboard was stuck there.
Oh, okay. All right. So a couple of falses, but
Oh, Paige and Sky agree for
oh,
once.
very good. All right. So mostly falses, I think, and a couple of trues in there. Okay. So this is false. It's actually the Asian elephant. They share
Oh,
more than 99% of their DNA with mammoths.
so they're
Um,
just like an itty bitty version, but without like as much
yeah.
of the fur because of where they live. Interesting. I just
Yes.
didn't know
So,
that.
well, if you look at the African elephant and the
Hmm.
Asian elephant, like side by side, the Asian elephant has much smaller ears. Here, I'll pull this up. Has much smaller ears. You can see that that's
Hmm.
really small. It has a bump on its head. You can see that here. It is not hairy like this, but it's way more hairy than an African elephant. And
Interesting.
another fun fact is that scientists are trying to resurrect the woolly mammoth. And in order to do that, um, yeah, that they are going to be using Asian elephants to help out because there's already a lot of DNA there. Uh,
Interesting.
I'm going to ask a bonus question here because I didn't include this for whatever reason. It just popped into my head right now.
Hmm.
Um, So, do you guys think, true or false, that ivory trade is still happening with woolly mammoths today? Kind of like, unfortunately, happens with elephants, African elephants more specifically, because they're more likely to have tusks.
So the the question is, do I think that the ivory trade is still going on with the woolly mammoths or the Asian
Correct.
elephants?
Nope, woolly mammoth.
Hmm, I don't know.
Oh,
That's
and
a
by the
great
way, I
question.
never went back to it, but the reason I said hold off on the T-Rex building hopefully is obvious now. That what you might have made your T-Rex look like originally maybe has changed since this
Hmm.
presentation. So I forgot to go back to that. All right, lots of truths on the ivory thing. So the short answer is yes. I had no idea, but this is actually apparently a very big thing because we are constantly finding woolly mammoths and have enough ivory from them that it's actually helping with the illegal trade of elephant ivory. So it's actually doing us a solid in that point. So I thought that that
Interesting.
was really interesting. Yeah, I had no idea. I came across that in Keyword for us, no worries. I thought you were just like really, really, really enthusiastic about that answer. You were right. So, way to be enthusiastic and stick to your guns. All right. So, although they are related to today's dolphins, ichthyosaurus ancestors walked on land. Now, I will show you a picture in case you were unfamiliar with what an ichthyosaurus looks like. So, they are related to today's um, dolphins. The question
I'm
is, did they used to walk on land?
I'm gonna say false on this one. I don't think so. I don't think that they walk on land. What
By
do you
the way,
guys think?
if anyone, have you ever seen a river dolphin? Just
No, I don't
curious.
believe so.
They look shockingly like this. They have like this huge snout. Snout's not the right word, but it's much
Oh,
larger
interesting.
than like a bottlenose dolphin, which I don't know about anybody else, but that's what when I hear dolphin, I think bottlenose dolphin, which of course looks nothing like this. But river dolphins are look a lot like this. So
I went ahead and I put the link in the
to a river dolphin. Oh, do you see it?
yeah.
Can you see the
Yeah,
similarities then? At least much more so than,
totally.
yeah, that's nuts.
Had no idea about any of these. That's super cool.
All right. So, couple of falses, couple of trues. Um, okay. True, just show it already. Okay.
They want to know. They're getting competitive.
Yes, this is true. So, um,
Really?
whales also originated on land. This is something that is known to a land to sea transition, and a lot of aquatic animals, mammals in particular, used to live on land. So, yeah, their
That's
ancestors
interesting.
walked, and then eventually they, I don't know, went in the water and stayed there. It's all very it's all very interesting how that works. So, yeah. Yes, sorry, this one was true. All right, next one. Scientists believe that the Saurophilus had more bones than humans, and this is a Saurophilus. I feel like I'm pronouncing that one
Mm.
correctly. More bones than humans, true or false?
I think this one's going to be true. What do you guys think?
Oh, yes, definitely true. Okay. All right, false. I love the enthusiastic answers. Very in their conviction of being true or false. True. Okay, a couple of trues, couple of falses. Does anyone know how many bones are in the human body? That probably informs on this answer a little bit. Anyone know how many bones are in the human body? You have to go. Oh, bye. Come back. You can always come back and watch the replay and pick it up right here. So,
Bye,
uh,
Amy.
okay. All right. So this one is false. We have 206 bones, friends, and they think that the Saurophilus had only around 100. We have lots of
Oh, really?
really tiny bones that I think we don't even think
Mm.
about. Like our hands and feet have bones that you likely have never heard of or never thought about. And the Saurophilus obviously had, the same number of appendages as we do, but they were not built in that way. So, yep, they had fewer bones than we do, which is, I don't know, to me, I think of like something bigger has to have more,
Right? But maybe they
not
had
so
more like bone
much.
plates or something.
Yeah, exactly. Their bones were definitely just bigger and took up more space than ours do. All right, the Spinosaurus hunted on land and in water, and this is a Spinosaurus. This guy right here, not this dude. This is a Spinosaurus.
I'm gonna say that I think this one's true.
We are getting close to the end of questions. I'm going to answer that question. All right, so going true. I can't remember exactly where we are, but I feel like we're getting close. Because the Spinosaurus was one of the last ones that I added. All right, true. Any other?
We're like, yeah. I think that it's true. They want to see.
Okay. Yes, the answer is yes. Now here was my daughter's answer to this. She's like, "Oh, I know, and I know exactly why." They had webbed back feet and not webbed front feet.
Oh, interesting.
She's like, therefore, it has to be true. So they were a very, very, very dangerous dinosaur. They were very large and they you could not escape them. They were on land, they were in water. I mean, they were even a threat to the pterodon, not the
Oh, wow.
pterodactyl. But yeah, well, think about it. I mean, the pterodon had to come down to the water at some point,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, and yeah, so they were a threat to pterodons and other like flying reptiles as well. So
Interesting. So kind of almost like a crocodile or alligator, kind of in a way.
yeah, except whew, whole lot bigger. Um, but they had really dense bones. So their bones were a lot like penguins. And so it helped them stay submerged. So we've been talking a little bit about dinosaurs that had hollow bones
Mm-hmm.
because they needed to be lighter. Well, this guy needed to be able to be kind of like just right, needed to be able to go underwater and stay there for lengths of time and also be able to hunt as adequately on land. So it's just a really, really interesting dinosaur. That was an easy question. All right, all right. All right. The Oviraptor, I don't know if it's like Oviraptor.
Mm-hmm.
That name means egg thief. And the question is, did it live up to its name? Did it steal eggs?
I think I know the answer to this one, so I'm not going to answer. And I'll be surprised. I'll let you know if I did know the answer or not.
All right. So the egg thief, did it steal eggs? All right. We got a true. True. What else? What else are you guys thinking? Anybody else? All right.
See, we've got a couple more answers.
People are
Jamie,
like, we don't even want
excited?
to vote anymore. We just want to roll. Oh, I didn't even show you. So this is what it looks like, by the way. apologies. I forgot that I had a picture on this page. So
Someone
that's
saw the little camera icon and they were like, "Show us."
maybe that's what people have been saying the whole time. Have I not been clicking on that? Sorry about that. I thought I had, but you know, it's been a long day. All right, so this is false. It was thought for a really, really, really long time to steal eggs from the nest of others. But actually, they now believe that it was a very like paternal dinosaur that this is actually kind of different because a lot of dinosaurs just laid eggs and it's not like they sat on them. I mean, can you imagine the
Mm.
Argentinosaurus like sitting on a
Sitting on
nest?
the egg.
I feel like that wouldn't end well. So, but these guys actually were very good parents. They incubated on their nests. They didn't go around like poaching from others, and yeah, they were very good parents.
So that's
Unlike
why they were oftentimes found with eggs, is
yeah,
because they
their
were
own.
actually, yes, those were actually their own eggs.
Their own eggs, exactly. All right, the Ankylosaurus was bite-proof against even the strongest of carnivores, and here's the Ankylosaurus.
I believe that that one is true.
Ankylosaurus. Are we going bite-proof on this one? Okay, we got another true. Someone agrees with you. I'm not sure what to make of the cat answer. Depends. The old wait, hold on, I lost my camera. The old thumb sideways answer. Okay. All right. Okay, so was the Ankylosaurus bite-proof against even the strongest of carnivores? Your favorite dinosaur. Oh man, I'm gonna break your heart. This is false. So they were covered
Really?
in what is known as osteoderms. And all right, so that's all of these like bony, not this, ignore the spikes. That's all of these bony parts right here.
Hmm.
However, in this dinosaur's infinite wisdom when it was being put together, forgot about its belly. So all you had to
Mm.
do was get it tipped over and you were good to go. Its belly was not protected at all. So
So kind of,
I guess a little bit like a turtle. Like once you turned it over, it was game over. So
yeah.
yeah, only on the top side. Now they could fight for themselves. So chances are you weren't going to turn it over too
Hmm.
often. But if you did and you survived that encounter, um, yeah, it was no longer bite proof.
That's crazy.
All right. The Brachiosaurus stood on its hind legs to reach vegetation. Now, this is something that you might be familiar with the Brachiosaurus. Yeah, Brachiosaurus,
Yeah. It's like a classic in all the different
right?
animated,
Yeah.
dinosaur documentaries.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's one of the very common ones. I tried to choose mostly common ones for the most part.
So I'm going to say that I think that this is true.
All right. We have a couple of people who agree with you. We've got one rogue false. Anybody else? Man, I thought I was closer to the end than I actually was. Maybe I switched the order around at some point. Um, Definitely false because it was too tall. So, all right, so that's what my daughter said. She's like, it's tall. Can't it like reach everything? So that's actually not the point of the question. There were trees taller than it.
Well, yeah,
So
if the dinosaurs were big, then you had to have something big for them to eat.
right, exactly, right? So there were actually things that were taller than this dinosaur. So all right, I will tell you the answer because it
Okay.
is it is definitely depicted pretty much everywhere that I've seen as standing up on its hind legs, and it could not do that. It was Lily was right for kind of the wrong reasons, but right. So like I said, there were things taller than it, so that was not what stopped it. It's just the amount that it had to eat every day, it wasn't worth it to try to get that extra little bit that was taller than it. And it wouldn't have been physically possible. Its back legs, I mean, look at the rest of it that it would have to hold on its
Hmm.
back legs. So despite it showing that, again, I refer to Jurassic Park from my childhood. That scene pretty close to near the beginning where they're like reaching up into the tree and like eating the leaves
Uh-huh.
right next to the kids. And of course, this is an herbivore, people. It's not like not like the kids were in any sort of danger, but couldn't do that. Nope, not true. All right. The Allosaurus, which was almost 17 feet tall, hunted in packs. Now, other than the feathers, it looked very much like a T-Rex. This was a carnivore. So the Allosaurus, which was almost 17 feet tall, I was just trying to give it like perspective, hunted in packs.
I
Okay.
feel like this one is going to be true. I feel like I may have heard, like, I think I may have heard that this one is true.
False. Okay. So we got one true, two trues with yours and a false. Anybody else think that the Allosaurus was a pack hunter? What do we think? True. Okay. I think we're leaning towards true on this one. All right. So this was true. Um, so perhaps even more frightening is that the T-Rex was also a pack hunter. So in a lot of movies, they are depicted as being like basically blind. Like only if you move, like you're in
Hmm.
deep danger. Not so much. The T-Rex and the Allosaurus had excellent eyesight, excellent senses, and hunted in packs. I mean, that makes them far more dangerous, in my opinion, than,
Yeah.
them, like, staring you in the face right here if they are hunting you with multiple ones. But they have solid proof on this one, where
That's
they have
crazy.
them running, like, they have, footprints, casts of
Mm.
them actually running side by side. And they were both actually quite intelligent. That was another sign of a pack hunter, because you need to coordinate, right? Pack hunting isn't just about like all of you running side by side, like it's a track practice or something. You had to actually coordinate, like wolves and other pack hunters had to coordinate with each other and communicate with each other. So each of them had a role to play, and yeah, I don't know, a 17-foot tall carnivore coming at me in multiples.
With
Just,
multiple.
yeah, that's frightening.
Born in the right millennia.
Yes. All right, the a Brontosaurus skull has never been found. Now, a lot of people confuse the Brontosaurus and the Brachiosaurus. The big way to
Okay.
tell the difference is look at this tail.
Oh, that's
The
so long.
Brontosaurus, yeah, the Brontosaurus would have cut off like right here. So that's the big difference between the two of them. So this one is a Brontosaurus. A skull has never been found. Is yeah, I know, right? Nothing scarier than that.
So a Brontosaurus soul has never been found. I'm gonna have to say that this one is true.
Okay.
What do you guys
Someone
think?
agrees with you.
And again, I don't know the answers to these. These are just my guesses based on being really into dinosaurs when I was like 10.
All right. Let's see. I know I've gone over. So I am going to give the answer quicker than I normally would. Um, so this is true. I have nothing really else to add other than that
That's
they've
crazy that
never
one has
found.
never found one.
Never, right? I mean, how can you how can you find like the rest but not the head? So
Yeah.
never to date. I double checked because this is a presentation that I gave quite a long time ago, and I double
Hmm.
checked. Still, as of this morning, they haven't found one. So it surprises me anyway. All
Yeah.
right. The plesiosaurus could ambush prey without ever revealing its body. This might be the last one. Last one or second to last one. All right, so this is the plesiosaurus. Could ambush its prey without ever revealing its body.
I think it has a long neck, so I'm gonna say yes, that it could be like buried in sand or something like that, or in underwater. And it could, I could see that still like being able to hunt a little bit on land, a little like tech by a technicality, you know.
Yes. Well,
I'm
kind of
just
like
saying.
its back end is like a little bit like a walrus, and, they go
Mm,
on land, so why not?
true, true.
Um, so fun fact before I answer, the plesiosaurus is what, Nessie, the Loch Ness monster, myth, legend is based on. So this is what it is supposed to be. It is supposed to be a plesiosaurus. And this is also one of the few dinosaurs that was discovered by a woman, although her brother took
Oh,
credit.
neat.
So that's
Well,
fun. He
not.
was like in the general vicinity, and so he gets credit for it a lot of times.
Mm,
That seems so unfair. All right, so this is true. Like you said, it had a really long neck. It was a very good swimmer, so it could be attacked before you ever saw its body. All right. Oh man, I know I've got to be getting to the end. All right, this is for sure the last one. Stegosaurus I did last. All right. So the Stegosaurus had solid plates that were arranged vertically along its spine. So this is a Stegosaurus. Solid plates that were arranged vertically along its spine.
I'm gonna say that this one is true. I think that those are solid plates.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else agree with Amelia? Solid plates. Let's see the full answer here. Solid plates that are arranged vertically along its spine. All right, we got a couple of trues, a false. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go quickly now because I know I've gone over and I feel really bad. All right, so this is false. I think that this picture gives you a really good idea. So A, the plates were not attached to its body. You can see here that
Interesting.
it's not attached to its body. They also were just randomly floating. They were embedded in the skin
Mm-hmm.
and connected that way. Um, that's A. B, they were also not solid. They were like a network of blood vessels and air pockets. I never would have
Huh.
guessed that. You can't really tell that from this. And this is even crazier. Scientists are still debating whether or not the plates went vertically like this or if they laid
Mm-hmm.
on their side. They don't know.
Huh.
So they do know that it wasn't attached to the spine. They do know that they were not solid. They do not know if they went up and down or side to side. That
Isn't
is
that
really weird
interesting?
to me. Yeah. So, oh no, there's one more. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. I'm just checking. Oh my gosh, there's so many more. Well, we can stop if you want. I could have sworn that was the last one. All right. So, did this dinosaur migrate? This is the Edmontosaurus. It is often confused with another dinosaur known as the Anatosaurus, which I believe we talked about earlier. Some people say it's the same dinosaur, some people say it is not. Kind of up for debate. To me, they have differences, kind of like the Asian elephant versus the African elephant.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously very similar, but they have differences. Um, Couple of
Okay,
yeses,
so
couple of nos. This is whether or not they migrated. Couple of yeses, couple of nos. All right. Going quickly here. They did. They were a migrating dinosaur. So obviously not like flying. Clearly they were not flying anywhere. But as a group, because they lived in herds, they migrated depending on the season. So I thought that that was kind of
interesting.
interesting. All
I
right.
wouldn't even think about dinosaurs migrating with seasons.
Right? I didn't either
Because
until
I
I
would
saw
imagine
that.
it was like all warm all over.
It feels that way, right? But I mean, technically the woolly mammoth didn't live in a very warm place.
That's
So,
true.
so there were colder places. All right, I'm not even gonna try this name. We in my class we referred to this guy as Stick Dude because none of us could say its name. So, do you think? And it was a very like thin profile. It technically doesn't have a height. So ignore this guy. You might remember him as the Ichthyosaurus.
Oh wow,
But
he's
this
big.
guy, um, do you think that he could stay underwater for 15 minutes?
I think that this is a trick question. I think that the answer is false. I think it could stay underwater for longer.
Okay. All right. Trick question. So these guys gave birth to live young.
Oh
Um
really?
so
So they
they
were
had
more of a mammal.
oh yeah. They had to come up for air. Mhm. Okay, so pretty much everyone's going yes. One person, like you said, longer, and you guys are correct. It was twice that long. It could stay
Oh wow.
underwater for up to 30 minutes and had a really, really, really good sense of smell. It was a very efficient hunter. So
And
something
it's
you don't want to
huge.
be in the water with. Yeah. All right. Oh, that's the end. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry that we went so far over. But
I
how'd
hope
you guys
everyone
do?
really I think that we got a lot of. I think everybody learned a lot. I know that I did, and I think that we all had a lot of fun. When you were asking if people wanted to, like, if they could keep going, they answered yes, yes, we can keep going.
Oh, that
So
was what the
they,
yeses were for. I didn't
so
didn't
so
know.
they were saying yes. They're having lots of fun. So if you guys
Oh, good.
really enjoyed all of these dinosaur resources and this dinosaur trivia, um, Heather has a bunch more fun dinosaur activities on her website. You can get 15% off since you participated in this live class. I have the discount code up on the screen. It's a dinosaurs 23. I also put it in the comments with a link to the other dinosaur resources that she has. So, if you guys haven't already signed up for the giveaway, I would highly recommend that you go over there and take a look at that. We are giving away a ton of really great resources. The prizes, I think, right now are over $200 worth of prizes, so it's not something that you want to miss out on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you
Oh,
guys so much for attending this live video. I hope you guys all had a lot of fun. I know that I did, and I really always look forward to doing classes with Heather. She always brings something really fun.
I am pleased to have been able to do this, and I'd love to see pictures of your T-Rex and your interpretation of it having attended this class. So, drop that in the comments when you get a chance. Have a good evening, everybody.